What is up, everyone? So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai model kit General Grievous. So my collection has been missing Grievous since day one, but when I first started collecting, I quickly learned that the Black Series General Grievous was grossly underscaled, so I just never went after it. I've been kind of holding out for the model kit. It's been a little pricey on the aftermarket, but during Amazon Prime days, I got a little bit of a deal. I mean, it was still kind of up there, but I'm happy to finally have this. This was fun to put together. It was a little challenging, and it does need some paint. I mean, you can get away with not painting certain things, but I think adding a wash, painting his internal organs, painting the sabers, I think that really helps. And there's some display options. I mean, you can display him with the cape on, or you can take the cape off and take these arms off and pop on the forearms so you can have him in his forearm configuration. I think that's how I'm going to have him. Now, I did not record the build or the painting because I've learned from YouTube Studio in the past, when I've done that, everyone skips that part. So I am not doing that again. I'm just going to show you the finished product. So let's take him in the other room and let's get a better look at him. And here is the Bandai model kit General Grievous. I think he looks fantastic, and this kit actually stands very well. I mean, you could put him on the shelf and you don't have to worry about him falling over at all. Now, he does come with a stand. That's what it looks like. I'm not a big fan of it, but you really don't even need it. I mean, he stands up great. And as far as scale, so he's slightly hunched right now. So even when hunched, he's about 7 inches tall. So I think that's perfect. Yeah, it's a good looking kit, and I think it looks even better when painted. But the cape is probably my least favorite thing on this kit. So let's take a look at that first. All right, so here's the cape. You have this plastic shell on top, and then this very, very stiff material from here down. Red on the inside, black on the outside. No caliche symbol. It's okay. This thing was super frustrating to put together, and I'll show you here. Let me just take it off. So there's a notch. Let me see if I can get the light just right. There's a notch right there. You can see that little notch right there. That notch fits in right there to help keep it stable. Here, General, let me put you down for 1 second. But getting the material to stay on the frame while snapping the top part on was so frustrating. Yeah, that was the hardest part of the build for me, was this silly cape. But that's what it looks like. You have some sculpted folds at the top, and then just this. I don't think I'll use this. I mean, I'm glad it's here, but it's just I don't know. It could be better. All right, so now that we have the cape off, you can get a better look at the model kit, and you can see just how much detail they crammed into this thing. Every single piece that you're looking at is a separate piece that you have to put together. So much detail, and some of these are very small, very thin, like the little black thing around his mouth. That's a separate piece. The eyes were separate. The ears, very thin, be careful. All this in his neck, all separate, but man, it just looks incredible. Here, that's what the arms look like. So much detail. Got some nice sculpted details in there. The belly looks nice. His legs, just very, very cool. And as far as painting, so I did do a dark wash on him from head to toe. I did not go overboard. I just did, just enough to bring out all the detail, like in here on his face, the shoulders, make all those cracks and crevices pop. There underneath the arms, the forearms, the hands. I think the hands look really good, painted. His crotch there, these little armor plates there, some grime. The lower legs, I think, look really good painted. That's what his back looks like. I mean, a dark wash is almost required just to bring out all this detail. Back of the neck, all this underneath, and the back of the head, I think, looks better. All those lines really come out. And something else I also did some silver dry brushing very lightly. Come on, camera. There. Okay, just a little bit. The inside of the arms, like on the corners, just a little bit, just to bring out some detail. Just a touch on his belly, on his thighs, on the corners, on the knees, on the corners, okay, just to make them look a little more metallic. His toes, okay, dry brushing there, just to make them look a little more metallic. The back, okay, like, if I can get the camera to focus, right there, just some slight silver. The back here, okay, you can see that. Back of the toes, okay, the dry brushing, I think, adds just enough. Back here. Okay, like he'd been sitting down. Okay, it's a little worn back there. All right, so that's that. And something else I did go as far as painting the internal organs. The default color when they're on the sprue is brown, and once it's inside the green thing and encased in the armor, you probably couldn't tell, but I did want to take this figure to another level and paint the internal organs, front and back. And if the light hits it just right, you can sort of see the plum-colored heart, the pink lungs, and whatever those green things are. I'm no expert on Kaleesh anatomy, but I did want to paint those. I think it looks really good. And the back, again, you can't really tell, but I know it's there. I think that really helped. And as far as stickers or decals, these two right here above each eye, that's a sticker. The mouth grill is a sticker. Now, as you're assembling the head, they did have you go ahead and put this on first. Okay, probably because once you get the so-called ears and the little black thing there, if those are on, it would have been kind of hard to put the sticker on. So they had you do that one first. And these are stickers, and they did have some stickers for the arms here and here, but they didn't stay well, so I just painted those just with a metallic silver. Now the stickers for the thighs, those stayed very well. Okay, those did okay, but the arms I did have to paint. And speaking of arms, so here's the left-sided alternate arm if you want to have him in the four-armed configuration. And I just wanted you to see that I did a dark wash on these as well. I think it helped a lot bring out all that detail. And I did the black on the corners with some dry brushing, just to bring out some added detail. So that's what that looks like. And as far as the saber hilts, the default color when they're on the sprue is black. Which would have looked fine, but I did want to paint these, so I just used a metallic silver and then did a dark wash and then painted the buttons with a toothpick. Okay, so there's that one, little red button, some black buttons, and another red button on that side. Okay, it looks all right. And then this saber, I get it to focus, some black on that button, and then on this side, red, black, and red. Yeah, this one turned out pretty good. I think overall, my saber hilts look better than Hasbro's hilts. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with these. But yeah, there's the left side. And here's the right-sided alternate arm. Again, a dark wash to bring out all this detail. I painted the silver there, and on the other side, did some silver dry brushing, very lightly on the black areas. And as far as the hilts, same deal, just a metallic silver with a dark wash and painted the buttons with a toothpick, so some red there. I tried to hit those, didn't really work out, but there's that one. And then this hilt over here, did the buttons there with a toothpick, some gold there, and some gold underneath. So you do have to take the hands apart to get the hilts, to put them in and to take them out. I'm not going to fool with it, you get the idea, but I did paint some gold underneath there. But that's the right side. I think it looks okay. And speaking of sabers, some of you may know this, but for those who don't, I've got a couple of Black Series sabers here on the left, and then the ones with Grievous here on the right. And as you see, the Black Series hilts are about the same size as the ones that came with the model kit. Okay, they're very close, but what's funny is blade length. The ones that came with Grievous are way longer. But that's totally fine. I mean, he's a big boy. If they were to put a blade this size with him, it would probably look a little funny. So I'm totally fine with these being long. All right, so let's take a look at articulation on this model kit, and I'm going to have to be careful. Okay, this is not a Black Series figure. You can't just be throwing limbs around. This is it's very delicate, but up here at the head, he does have some very good side to side and very good tilt, as well as some up and down. Okay, the head is on a ball, and the head can actually telescope in and out right there, but again, you do have to be very, very careful. There we go. Yeah, that little part right there, the head can telescope up and down. So yeah, pretty good range in the head. And for arms, so the two-armed configuration, they can get up that far, and they can rotate around, no problem. You just have to be careful. Now the shoulder itself is on a ball, so you do have some, some pivot in that plane. Okay. Then for elbows, they only get to 90, so you got two little, like almost pistons here, and the top one actually rides along a little track inside the forearm. Okay, but they get to 90. It's all right. The wrist can swivel. He's got a ball joint right here at the middle, so you've got some swivel as well as, some motion there. Again, you have to be careful with all these plates back here because they can pop off when you're moving the figure. As far as hips, you do have some pivot in and out. Okay, they're on a ball. They go up that far, but again, be careful because this will pop off. They go back that far. And for knees, yeah, just to there. And then his dog leg, okay, you do have some, hang on, you've got some pivot there. Not a lot, but some. And then the feet themselves are on a ball. So if you want to change him to the forearm configuration, the ball for the shoulder is attached to a very large peg that goes into his chest at sort of this angle. Now, quite often when you go to pull, just the arm will come off and you're left with this. So then you could sort of wiggle that out very carefully. There we go. And if that happens, you can just pop this right back in there. And same thing on this arm. Be very careful. And again, yeah, the arm came off, but it left the peg. So you can just gently wiggle this peg out. Come on. Come on. There we go. And then you're left with a no arm Grievous. But then you could just pop this back in there like so. All right, so let's put these in. And again, they go in sort of this angle. Okay, so just drop those. There's the hole right there. Okay, so put those in very carefully. And again, it's best to hold like up here near the joint. Okay, so there's the left side and the right side. Get in there very carefully, very carefully. There we go. Okay, so now he's got 4 arms and that's just cool. All right, so now that I have these arms on, I'll just try to show you briefly the articulation on these. So now we have a double ball up here at the shoulder, so the 2 arms can move independently of one another. You've got some pivot in and out. The elbows can get still at 90, okay, but it's okay. And then the wrist can swivel. But being on a ball up here, you have lots of range in the upper arm, which is really cool. And this shoulder armor back here, this is attached to the rear arm, okay? But again, the 2 arms can move independently of each other, and that just looks really, really neat. And of course, with the 4 arms, you know, you can get him in his classic Grievous spinning lightsaber stance. He's pretty well crouched. The 2 front arms are sort of back, and then the 2 rear arms are out front, and you can sort of envision these 2 spinning. And I think this looks kind of cool. He's looking at his left, and all the sabers are just out in front, still kind of crouched. It's a cool look. And of course, you can have all 4 arms just outstretched with the sabers, you know, just pointing straight out. I think that looks really neat. Now, I do want to kind of stop posing him because, again, this is not a toy. It's a model kit. I kind of want to quit fiddling with him because I just don't want to break him. So let me decide on a pose, and then we'll go stick him on the shelf. Hang on a second. All right, for now, I may just do something like this, you know, just the 4 sabers out in front with arms at various, you know, angles. And I forgot to mention, the elbows do swivel. The elbow joint is sort of a ball, so you do have some swivel at the elbow as well as getting to 90. But this looks pretty good. I mean, it's not a, you know, not a bad pose. And again, this guy stands up every single time. So let's go stick him on the shelf and let's see how he looks there. And there he is on the shelf, and wow, he looks really nice. In this light, the green blades really glow. The blues really don't do too much, but man, those greens look fantastic. And as far as the model kit itself, I mean, the dark wash I think really helps. The silver dry brushing, as subtle as it is, I think adds a little bit. Let's see, as far as the internal organs, can't really see them in this light, but they are there. And as far as scale, you know, there he is between Cody and Rex. He's a big boy. I think he scales very well. I am so happy to finally have Grievous on the shelf. It's a great kit. So bottom line, I think this is an excellent model kit. I am so glad to have found a pretty good deal on it. As far as assembly, yes, it was very challenging. I mean, not that it was downright difficult. It was just the fact that there's so many very teeny tiny parts and very thin parts. You have to be very careful, but the end result I think looks fantastic. As far as the painting, I mean, I am no expert at painting by any means, but I think the dark wash really helped. Painting the internal organs, that's totally optional, but I'm glad I did it. Now, painting the saber hilts, I mean, yes, they're black by default. They would have looked fine, but I think hitting those with some metallic silver and a dark wash and painting the buttons red and black, I think that really helped. And this guy stands up every single time. It's so nice to have a Grievous that is stable. As far as the cape, I don't think I'll use it. I mean, I'm glad it's here. But again, I like the forearm look. But all this up in here, that was super frustrating. So yeah, there's the cape. As far as the other arms, it's nice to have some options, but again, I will most likely leave him in the 4-armed look. And as far as the stand, again, this thing, for it to work, you have to have him so crunched down because this is supposed to hook in like back here or here. I couldn't get it to work all that well, so I don't think I'll use the stand. But again, you really don't need it. He stands up great. I am super happy with this, but just like always, I would love to hear from you all, so comment below and let me know what you think of the Bandai model kit General Grievous. And if you enjoy videos on Bandai model kits or Star Wars Black Series or just Star Wars in general, smack that like button and subscribe if you're new, and don't forget to turn on notifications. I would certainly appreciate it. And something else that I would love for you to consider, and that is joining the channel. It is the 112th Battalion. It's only 99 cents a month. You'll get sneak peeks to upcoming videos and custom emojis and loyalty badges and even some exclusive members only content. I would definitely appreciate that. But just like always, thank you all so much for watching. See y'all next time.